You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, guys, we're actually coming off a awesome weekend at Launchpreneur Academy Live 2022. Just a barn burner of an event. As you guys, if you were there, you know. And if you haven't been there, and you guys might have been hearing the last couple podcast episodes on a bunch of folks' shows, hearing about how amazing the event was. Not out of anything that I've done personally there, but all the speakers that were there, the sponsors that were there, the people that have shared, they all literally knocked it out of the park. Super grateful and excited about that. Actually joining us really in real life, real time, I got none other than Jeremiah Jennings. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks
to be here.
Thanks for coming over to the Casa.
Yeah.
And we're shooting a podcast episode.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited. This is everybody's pumped up after this week. This weekend, Equip in the past. Like, it's just a busy last couple of weeks. Yeah.
Busy. Yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks here. We're also joined by my man, Paul Jamison. How you doing, bud?
Good, Brian. Excellent job at the event, man.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. You get some good podcast episodes in?
So many good episodes.
Yeah.
Man. It was great.
Tell me about it. Give me one or two.
Mark Bradley, got to interview him for the first time.
Heck yeah.
Paper Pete.
Okay.
And Nick Carlson, Corey Ballard, Pookie.
Yeah, there you go, Pookie. You know, Pookie, if you know, you know.
Mark Bradley, Pookie.
The fact that he's known by that name, like, kills me.
That's a spread right there, you know what I'm saying? But I love it. With the Green Industry Podcast, by the way, so if you guys haven't listened to Paul's show, and Jeremiah, really quick before we go into the weeds, what's your show?
Growing Green Podcast, yeah.
Growing Green Podcast. Growing like crazy.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
No, things are going pretty good over there, man.
Yeah.
You're humble, but what do you guys got going on? Marriage Monday's been a big hit.
Yeah, it's been a huge hit so far. Everybody that we really came in contact with in the last 6, 8, 12 weeks have loved those episodes. It's kind of honestly, I got to give you a little bit of credit because we're piggybacking it off of Together in the Trades event, really.
Oh, is that where you kind of launched it?
I mean, yeah, we kind of started right after that.
I like it.
So, I mean, I know y'all have a passion. You and the Allmans have a passion for couples that are in business and are married, running business together. It's really tough. Like, it's not easy.
Right.
We had that conversation 30 minutes ago about what it's like, and it's not always easy. And so, Savannah and I, my wife Savannah, we just had a baby, and so we just kind of walked through some parenting things that we're dealing with now as we move forward. Kind of take everybody along the journey with us, and then just kind of how we can kind of keep a half decent marriage. I mean, it's never going to be perfect by any means. If you listen to some of the shows, you'll realize it. But I think I got a text from Brian like 3 weeks ago, and he was like, "Dude, the first 5 minutes to your Marriage Monday was so awkward, epically awkward. I didn't even know how to handle myself." So.
What was the episode? It was like you were like, "Well, things are good here, but we had to work through something a few minutes ago."
Yeah, literally.
And you could tell like it wasn't resolved, bro.
No, not at all.
Did you hear that one too?
Not yet. Oh, man.
I forget. It wasn't, but just a couple.
It was like 3 years.
flight
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago.
It's a long flight home.
I just opened my phone Wednesday morning or Tuesday, one of the mornings, and he was like, "Dude, your episode was so epically awkward. I don't even know."
The first 7 minutes, you were like, "Well, so Savannah and I had a little something we had to work through." And that's a great like marriage line. And then you guys were like, you had said something like, "But we're here, we're excited, and we were able to figure that out." And Savannah goes, "We did?" Like, dude, I was like, oh. And so you could just like, as if you're trying to create content or social stuff, you guys know how it is. Even if like in your business, you're just like, you deal with a customer, but 2 minutes later you were fighting with your spouse or your wife or something on the phone or one of your guys or something stupid. You guys, we've all been there, but it was just like, it's also like, hey, the show must go on.
Yeah.
So Jeremiah's like, pull it together, woman.
Literally.
But it wrapped up as a really, really good show. A lot of great stuff on there. But I was literally laughing like so hard out loud. I had to text you. I was like, bro, I've been there so many times. I'm like, epic intro.
But that's what it's about. It's showing the real life. Like, it's everybody.
100%.
Literally, everybody's just a normal dude, normal couple out there. Just, and not to say that people think we are a crazy couple, but we're just normal. Like we're just going through it every single day.
100%.
So it's
well, we were sharing out in the living room just a minute ago. The ladies are playing defense. Praise the Lord on the kids.
Yeah.
Baby Jack is 12 weeks.
9 weeks. Yeah, 10 weeks. So he's about to be 10. Yeah,
10 weeks old. That's wild. And it's crazy. Like two parts of me. One, I'm like, I love the cute little baby phase. The other part of me is having like PTSD from the cute little baby phase.
He had an outburst, and I know you were like,
oh, dude, like lack of sleep, all that stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I remember all of it. But we were just laughing out there how like, dude, it's real life. It comes at you fast, and you guys are still growing, putting it together. You got the business, like nothing stops. And we were saying out there, like, yeah, our marriage isn't perfect either. We were sharing some raw struggle stories. I think we actually might talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah.
We might do a podcast together.
Full show, yeah.
But I was like, yeah, it's been a busy last 12, 15 months with Emmy. So.
Yeah.
Paul, how's things going in your life, man? You're like single as a Pringle. Are we making some progress here? What's up, bud?
Single as a Pringle. I think I'm going to shoot my shot again.
Okay.
So with a girl, so we'll go for it.
Rock and roll.
And Caleb Allman was giving you some good tips this morning on finding a mate too. We'll have to tell Ryan about that later.
I didn't hear that one.
Well, I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or serierious.
There were some serious things in there. There were some not serious things in there too.
Okay, well, you showed me a website of how you can get a Ukrainian women because they're fleeing currently. So there's a website that has like their profile pics and stuff. So this one girl that he showed me was fine. She was from Ukraine. And then Brittany's like, "Are you serious, Paul?" Because I was like,
"Oh my God!"
Screenshotting information.
I don't know what to do with that one.
Yeah.
So I mean, where's the interest level? Is that like a 2 thing or like a 10 thing? Like you're in or out?
Oh, Paul's a 10 on that one.
Yeah.
He made it look like it.
Oh, well, and the Ukrainian
You're pretty
girl
interested,
on someone else. Well, I mean, I just want a wife.
Yeah. Well, you got to be very selective. I don't. Ukraine's not like probably a bad place to go for a wife, but back in your backyard and local watering hole might work too. So, but I digress. Well, we're super excited. Everybody's pulling for you all the time. You're making your money now, man. So, we're super proud of you, man.
Thanks. I've been working so hard. Like the other day, I wake up early like you. I get a lot early on in the day. And I had worked my butt off all day. It was like 9:30 at night. And I just like looked at my clock. I was like, it's 9:30 at night. But I didn't even, I was in that state of flow, they call it. Like, I had just been working all day and it was like I ran out of time, but I'm loving what I'm doing, building this foundation for, success.
Dude, and you really are. I know you're podcasting 5 days a week, which is it's a full-time job. Like to have a show every day, it's a lot. And then I know you do a lot with Amazon affiliate links and just being able to do some social media marketing and build a stay-at-home business or work from home kind of a company. It's really, really cool, man, with everything you got going on with your social media stuff.
Yeah, and I got some at-bats with, Lowe's and some other companies like that.
Great sponsors,
so
great brand deals, yep.
I just, Nick Carlson talked about how you always want to serve your customer well. And you don't want to drift from.
There's a clothes hanger hanging off his sleeve here. It's real life in the nursery.
Oh man,
the baby nursery.
So whoever your customer is, you want to serve them well, and you don't want to drift with all the other components of building your business. And so, it's just for me to pursue a wife right now, and then to see your kids. I'm like, I'm barely providing good service to my customers.
Yeah.
So it's like I got to get that really stable before I can add what you guys have because I'm sure there's an element of that. There's also an element of you throw yourself off the cliff and build your airplane on the way down.
Yeah.
Because you can't get ready to get ready.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that because maybe I need to hear that more. Maybe I'm just too.
That set me free a while ago because like probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago. Actually, I'll be honest with you, right before I got engaged with Liz, because I was like, I was waiting for everything to be perfect before I got engaged. Everything perfect. So then when I got engaged, I was like, we got to be perfect before we get married. Well, then, when we got married, I just started realizing like, dude, it's you're never perfect. And then I was like, we want to have a certain amount of money in the bank before we have kids, and then a certain amount of money in the bank before we move to a different apartment or a certain income level or something, right? And it's always to get ready, and you would imagine or logically it would work that way. It's really the opposite. Usually I've noticed like you make a power move and then you backfill.
Yeah. Okay.
Make a power move and you backfill. Right, and that's just something I've personally. I don't know. You got any quick thoughts?
Yeah. I think that goes hand in hand. And we're going to name a lot of the names that were here at the event this weekend, just because that's what's top of mind right now. Nick Carlson, a conversation I was having with him. Yeah. Nick Carlson's a common name coming up. The dude is just on another level when it comes to the way he thinks about things, the way his business is doing.
You build an 8-figure business with 6 employees.
Yeah. I mean that tells you enough right there. But one thing he said to me was, in passing, like it wasn't even like a profound statement. It's just how he talks. But he was like, dude, nothing scares me. Like fear isn't a thing to me. Like it doesn't scare me. And that kind of goes hand in hand with like, you're never going to have everything figured out. If you try to do that, if you try to worry about that, you're never going to have enough money in the bank to have a kid.
Yeah,
like you're never going to be able to. You can set a goal, and you should do that. You should be smart with your money.
Yep.
But there's never going to be enough. There's never going to be enough to buy a house or enough to retire. Like, I mean, there is, but there isn't at the same time. You cannot let fear run your life and try to plan the rest of your future. You just have to take faith. And in this entrepreneurship journey that a lot of you listening in are on,
right?
What we're all three on in this room right now is like, it's not for the faint of heart. You have to have it. You have to have a mindset of fear doesn't stop me.
I love it.
And it's something I've had to work through. Like it's. I think everybody has to work through it at some point.
I don't think it comes easy. I don't think it comes automatic. You know, you got to put yourself out there, Paul, like they say, and you are any which way.
No, I haven't. I haven't gone on a date in years.
Yeah.
Not like a couple of years, like years.
Yeah.
So I haven't been putting myself out there. I asked a girl out a few times and didn't quite get the connection. But other than that, I haven't asked any other girl out, and I haven't gone on any dates. So I've just been like focused on building my business and getting my spiritual walk a little, in order, better order. But nonetheless is don't be afraid to take your shot now and then build something together with the wifey. I appreciate it,
right? Because you don't want to build this whole empire and then try to fit her into the mix.
That's good,
right? You can build this together and have this cohesive life together that you guys build together. Yeah, amen to that. Because and again, you it's on God's time. You're doing a good job. So whatever, not to go on that whole thing. But let's shift gears. Hard shift. LAL 2022. If you guys want more dating advice, we'll do dating Wednesdays after Marriage Mondays. So, but that being said, let's do this really quick. We're gonna hear from today's show sponsors announcements, and then we're gonna hear a little bit more about LAL 2022 banger event. 350 people there, 315 attendees, probably another 30-40 people with hosts, speakers, sponsors, all that mess. Awesome time. And I'm not just saying that. That's the feedback I'm getting.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you guys, like, I'm grateful and thankful to quote unquote host the event, if you will, but I'm just a steward of it. I'm telling you what, it's a community event. So many people showed up, poured into it. The Mitchell Gordys were there, the Lamont Harrisons, the Mark Bradleys from Element, the Troy Clogs came in. It was an amazing time. So we'll do a rapid fire, kind of debrief here and maybe a couple key takeaways. We're not going to give you everything here today, but let's do this really quick. Let's hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and then we're going to come right on back.
Lawns, landscaping, and outdoor awesomeness, that's what your business does best. Managing your vehicles and optimizing efficiency with the latest technology is what we do best. GPS Track It provides a 24/7 view of where your company vehicles are and how efficiently they're operating, saving you time and money. With more than 12,000 customers, GPS Track It has delivered peace of mind for lawn and landscaping companies for 20 years. Ready to protect your vehicles and save money? Talk with one of our fleet advisors. There's no pressure, no hassles. Call 833-385-0252 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to learn more. Those details are in the show notes. GPS Track It.
All right, guys. Well, let's jump right back into it here. And by the way, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the recording at the top of the hour, but we're actually going to break this podcast up into a two-part series. I was just talking to Jeremiah Jennings. I said, hey, would you mind if we throw the other half or the second half of this interview and kind of debrief on the Growing Green podcast?
Yeah.
So stay tuned to that. If you guys are listening to this real time, make sure by the time you guys are done with this one to go out, check out Jeremiah's show to hear the second half of this. And then also maybe go back through last couple weeks of Marriage Mondays. They've been really, really good lately. So some great stories there.
Yeah.
All right. So where do you guys want to start? I guess let's go all the way back to Thursday, right? Because you guys both came in early.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun just kind of catching up and ribbing and rabbing back and forth. We all went to, was it Texas Roadhouse?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like really where the party started.
Yeah, that was when we found out the birthday party and all that.
Brittany Almond, if she's listening to the show, I think I owe her an apology or what, but either which way, it was super funny.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Long story. So this is why you come to events like this, because it's not just the speakers on stage. It's like the whole weekend of events. Okay, and all these crazy funny stories and all these things that happen in the community. Long story short, we went to Texas Roadhouse and. Well, we embarrassed Miss Brittany Almond, right? We were there, and there's a party of like 8 or 10 people, and somebody clearly had a birthday. And just long story short, they come out with like the birthday train, and they're like clapping, hey, 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 hey. And then they're like, do we have a birthday here or whatever? And so anyway, this guy did the largest, loudest Texas draw yeehaw.
Yeah.
If you guys,
he loved his job.
Oh my God, this guy has passion about his job. Like Greg Whitsock, I love my job.
Yeah.
This guy was like Texas Roadhouse, I love my job. Okay. And he did the largest yeehaw I have ever seen. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. And Brittany Almond goes, how embarrassing. I go, really? I said, you don't like that stuff? She goes, I hate that stuff. I said, interesting. So our server girl comes back and I pull her aside really quick and I go, hey, just so you know, this lady right here, her name is Brittany. It's her birthday today. And she goes, really? I go, oh yeah. She goes, awesome. I'll make sure to do the whole party train. I go, thank you. 30 minutes later, great meal. We're all hanging out. And then you hear, do we have a birthday here? Birthday where? Birthday here? Oh, and the guy goes, give me your best Texas. Yeah. Dude, 50 people. Yeah. And Brittany Almond's like slinking into the booth of her chair.
She's as red as your shirt right now.
So pink, so red. She's like, I hate you so much. It was hilarious. Just having fun.
Yeah.
You gotta make memories and moments. I don't know. You get any thoughts on that really quick? Because
I was dying. It was Caleb was over in the corner too. Caleb wasn't. He didn't like it either. He
didn't like it either. They don't like the attention.
Yeah, he was like, dude. He's like, get me out of here. I hate this stuff. It's like I'm going to kill Brian. But Brittany's only words were like, dude, we have a lot of meals left. That's what.
So I'm gonna get you back. Yeah, I'm gonna get you back. That was a lot of fun. Actually, it was. Well, a whole nother story for a whole other time. But anyway, one other quick story. It was funny because the kid at the front counter was like, we go over there with a party of 8, and he's like, hey, and you've never like, I don't know, but you're like, did you just do that? I'm like, yeah. The kid at the counter, we put our name in, and he goes, oh, it's gonna be 45 minutes to an hour, and I go, hey. He's like the 17-year-old kid. I go, I'll give you $100 right now if you seat me next.
Yeah, it's funny.
And he goes, he's like the 17-year-old kid. His eyes like just got huge, wide open. You weren't there for this, Paul. No. His eyes like bug out wide open. He goes, really? I go, yeah, bro. And he goes, give me 1 second. Boop, 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 boop on the computer. He goes, Fullerton, party of 8. Fullerton, party of 8.
3 minutes later.
Dude, literally. And he goes, all right, you guys are up next. And we just literally kind of usher right by. I just palm him $100. And he goes, he sits us and he goes, come back anytime, y'all. So made that kid's day, and he was awesome. But any which way, I'm not going to give his name out or who he is because I don't want him to get fired. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
you did put in a good word for him with the manager.
I did at the manager. I go, that kid is awesome, and the manager's like, thank you. He's one of our best guys. I go, he sure is.
Yeah, he is.
I said, you need to keep that guy around. So we're trying to bypass the line and be a hot shot, right? One of those deals. Yeah, right. So anyway, what Friday's events? Friday we had the go-kart track. That was really, really cool.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good time too. Just kind of fellowship, hang out. Everybody was talking trash. I'm going to smoke you. I'm going to smoke this. Did you get a chance to get to the go-karts?
I was podcasting the whole time, which was productive, but I didn't get... When I saw Carlson bust out the helmet, I'm not even wasting my time.
Yeah, Nick put out his helmet with a tinted visor and his gloves on.
It's like,
I saw that. It was like carbon fiber.
Yeah.
He's like, this will shave a second off of my lap time.
And then Corey Ballard said, that's a douche move. And they were like...
Well, because Corey's got the whole same setup.
I know, but they were talking trash. Like they all took it real serious. And then Mitchell Gordy is low key, like he's a biker.
Yeah,
so he wanted to. They were all trying their best. Is what I'm saying. So
and then Austin Douglas is walking around cool as a cucumber because he had won last year in the pole position, whatever you call it, for the final race. But I guess there was no like Grand Prix final race this year.
Yeah, I screwed it out for the end, so I didn't see.
Yeah. But I guess they never did a final heat because Austin Douglas is, I guess, kind of undefeated.
Yeah.
So I said, he brought that up in the masterclass this morning. He's like, I'm still kind of the champion. I'm like, fair enough. All right, roll with it, man. But you don't really get anything for it. But sorry, Mitch or Austin. But nonetheless, Friday was a really, really good time. It was cool to network with people. People got their badges early. There's a good 200 people there, I'd say. 150, 200 people.
Yeah, it was crowded, yeah. And I would say, not to interrupt you, but going back, I mean, we came in a day early just to get settled with Jack and everything, but like all the people that came out and helped Friday set up.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, does not need to go unnoticed.
So
there
Friday,
were 2 guys there when we got there waiting, and it was awesome.
Yeah, Kyle Blessing, Carson Tinsley, a bunch of other great people, setting out swag bags, notebooks.
Putting together trusses, the spin booth, like all that stuff.
The banners.
Yeah.
The spin booth. We can just hit on that really quick.
That was a project.
That was wild. I invested in a spinning booth. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these things. Paul, have you ever seen one of those before?
Yeah.
Remember at the Jobber booth they had one?
Yeah, that's where I saw it.
So I had never seen anything like that until the Jobber booth. Yeah. And I was like, what the heck is that? So if you guys haven't seen this thing before, you stand on this platform in this what would we call it, like this arm, just kind of swings around, and maybe you guys have seen them. I had never seen one, and you put your phone in like slow mo, and then you kind of like get little props and dance. So this thing's zipping around pretty quick, right? And you can put it on Instagram as like a reel. And I forget the couple that did a really, really good one. They had the red sunglasses and the red hat.
Yeah, I did see that.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't remember who it was.
They had the money gun.
Yeah, I saw that pop up.
Yeah, they had the money gun and it was like slow-mo shooting the dollar bills. Dude, it was perfect. Like I think we gave him a $100 Chick-fil-A gift card for having the coolest spin-a-booth reel.
Really?
Yeah. It was really, really cool.
Fullerton just flinging out hundreds, man.
Sorry, hundreds of pennies to Fullerton.
Hey, time is money. I don't know. I just
and then Brittany made somebody fall off there. Did you hear
dude,
about
so
that?
I forget the girl's name. We saw them after. She was laughing so hard. She was a good sport. But she thought like it only did one loop.
Yeah.
And then she like went to get off it, and that arm came and knocked her out, bro. I forget the girl's name, but they were a good sport. But I was like, we will give you $100 for honorary, mention. And she's like, no, but she tried to grab the backdrop, and like that, like it was coming down.
Yeah.
It was so awkward, but they were great sports. So I'm great because sometimes that stuff happens and you get embarrassed, But
no, she was cool. She was cool.
She was cool with it. The whole group was like cool with it. Everybody was like chill. So it was really funny. Like just to see this thing knock somebody out. I was like, oh my God, please. I'm like, this is why I have event insurance for $1,500. Dude, it's $1,000 to have event insurance for the day. Well, my last quote was $1,500. I got a new quote for $1,000. I have to have $1,000 worth of insurance for $2 million worth of coverage just for the day.
That's crazy.
I'm like, why?
It's like my yearly amount for my business.
For real. I was like, why? And they're like, you just, in case somebody, breaks a leg or something. Yeah. I was like, all right. And then that happens. I go, well, I'm glad I'm insured.
Yeah, at least I have it.
They should have made a claim and gave me half, but whatever. I think that's called insurance fraud. But anyway, so Friday, what else did we do on Friday? We set up, we had the go-karts.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah, it was pretty packed afternoon, but it was good. Yeah,
and then Saturday morning rolls around. 7:30 was registration table. 8 o'clock, doors open. 8:30, the event kicked off. It was just the anticipation was so different because this year's idea or theme was let's get a little bit more technical, right? I don't want to go too into the weeds here with what everybody shared, of course, but the idea was people wanted a little bit more X's and O's, and by design, the last 2 years of LAL, I wanted to be a little bit more inspiration, a little bit more we got you, a little bit more love, a little bit more. The world was just imploding for 18 to 24 months with the COVID year, and people felt isolated and not a lot of community. It was just tough. So I wanted it to be a little bit more pump people up, show some love. This year we got a little bit more technical. Instead of rah-rah, it was a little bit more, hey, here's what you need to do next. And I think people really reciprocated and really appreciated that message.
Yep.
Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts? What was your feedback or pulse on the event?
Yeah, absolutely. The feedback I got is people absolutely loved it. The X's and O's, and I only was in there for a half of Mark Bradley's speech and then your speech because I was out interviewing. Basically, when someone got off stage, like Pay Repeat or whoever, I would interview them.
You got
my
the debrief.
podcast. Yeah, it was awesome.
So they were fire.
Yeah, the episodes are incredible on the Green Street podcast from interviewing all those guys. Basically, I interviewed every speaker except I wasn't able to get Troy Clogg, but you got him on your podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So all the speakers got on podcast one way or the other.
I can't wait to check those out.
Yeah,
selfishly, I cannot wait to check those out.
They were so good. I was nervous with Mark Bradley's one because I was just like,
$50 million company they sold over in Canada.
Yeah. Well, normally when I interview someone, they're like, man, my prices were too low. You got these chucking the truck stores. Like, I raised my prices. Like, high five, man.
Yeah,
doing it. He was like, yeah, we did. We're $50 million, and I built another company. I had to sell it, and I'm sitting there like,
just the nonchalant, dude.
Yeah, real casual, and I was like, I'm literally like, normally I just talk. I don't think at all. I just talk.
Yeah.
I'm thinking in my head, like, what am I going to ask him next? What am I going to ask him
Bro,
next?
so funny. It's funny you say that because I was talking to Caleb and Brittany at dinner and passing or whatever, and it was funny because Caleb's like, are you ready to interview Greg Whitsock? Because Greg wanted to do a little bit of a panel, like kind of back and forth, talking about calendar and time management. And I thought it was really good. I hope we did it justice, because that's my point. Like he's got a $60 million company, and I'm over here like, I'm usually talking to people on a different pay grade, different wavelength, and trying to help the smaller guys. But this guy's got a $60 million company. I'm like, am I even asking the right questions?
Yeah.
Right? Like one of those deals. So I was telling this to Caleb. I said, I feel like an idiot talking to Greg. He's got this $60 million company. And Caleb goes, yeah, well, you gave me the job of interviewing Mark Bradley. How do you think I feel? I went, ooh, like, so that in that what would you even call that? Like, not nervous or scared, but just like intimidated. Like, I'll be honest with you, I was intimidated. I'm like, Greg, I don't even know what questions to ask you, bro. Like, you talk. But I thought it was really good. And our speech that we did on stage, or Greg's speech that I got to interview him with. But to hear Mark Bradley's episode, that's probably already coming out or shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Mr. Producer's got all that worked out, but
in the queue,
it was good. But even what he was saying in your room,
just
just showing on the screen, $55 is the average man hour for lawn maintenance. $120 is the average for landscape contracts or stuff. Like, I didn't know that stuff my first year.
No.
And for the 350 people that got to see that information and all the details, it's like you can run your business professionally right out the gate. I mean, that was worth it just there for the stuff that he shared.
One thing that I didn't expect this when we started putting this event on in 2019. But I've really come to see people that have really gravitated to this event and approached this event, including Energize and the Influencer Live at Equip Expo, is the younger guys, right? And I got to hit on that for a quick second because, like you said, can you imagine how different our business, our life would be if you had this stuff 5, 10, 15 years ago, or year 1 or year 2, or even if you're just like thinking about getting in the industry and you kind of like plugged around to all this free social stuff or even a live event for a couple $100 just to get the lay of the land. Like, there's kids at the event, I call them kids, but they're 15, 16, 17 years old. There's a kid in the master class this morning. He has like a really intelligent question. We had this whole like powwow, like 10-minute jam session. Corey Ball's just ripping it from the frame. Nick Carlson's ripping people's heads off, just screaming at them. And it was all awesome. And I go, hey, by the way, dude, I said, how old are you? He goes, I'm 17. He's doing a couple $100,000. I was like, what? Just what? And the kid's like, not only did he come to the event, but he saw value in spending another $250 to get in rare air in this masterclass event to get around a Corey Ballard. I'm like, can you imagine if you guys listening in, just for real, just think like really quick, just a little takeaway. If you were 17, 18 years old and able to pick the brain of a guy doing 20, 30 million with one company, another 10 million with another company, and then Nick Carlson doing 8 figures, he was saying with Mulchmate or Dawson Manufacturing.
Yeah.
Like, what was I doing at 17, 18? I was playing GoldenEye and Perfect Dark on N64 and Smash Brothers.
Mario Kart.
Remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
I was doing that, and then at best playing sports and doing stupid stuff outside. I did not have future focus, and these kids are getting around people making good money, big businesses, big impact. And it's just wild. So if all of you guys that are coming that have been supporting the show, Henrik the Lawn Kid, Jake's Quality Lawn Care, all these young guys, Ashton, there's so many great young kids that are supporting this thing, and they're bringing their buddies, they're bringing their friends, and like the secret's getting out. Like, these kids are making some good coin. I mean, how old are you, by the way, again, Jeremy? 22. I mean, I would still kind of keep you in that same category, that 16 to 25 crowd.
Yeah.
Like, you guys find so much value in this content. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and it's stuff that I didn't even have when I started. Like, this is still, because I'm year 4.
Year 4?
I'm in year 4.
Yeah.
So this was all, I mean, I started right kind of at the beginning of, I guess, the whole social media train, really, before it
kind of
took
ramped
off.
up a
Like,
little.
it was...
Yeah.
So I came on to the whole social media 2 years ago. So I didn't even have I didn't know anything about it. I mean, you've been doing YouTube, what, 7, 5, 6 years?
This is my 6th year, I think, in March.
So you had been doing some when I started, but I didn't really know about it. Like, it hadn't taken off near what it is today. There were no podcasts like this. I mean, there was nothing like this. And the fact that you get to, before you even start your business, you get to have this stuff in the bank.
It's wild.
How many people have come up to me and yourself and Paul and said, dude, I'm going full-time in 2023 or full-time in 2022. Let's go back to a year ago.
Right.
This was in 2021. I'm going full-time this year. I've listened to your content. You've really helped me. I can't wait to do this. And then they follow up with you a year later.
Yeah.
And they say, look, this is what I've done this year because of podcasts like this and YouTube videos like yourself and TikTok videos, Instagram videos, anything short form, whatever kind of content you can consume, they're consuming.
Right.
And it's insane that it's going to take their value of their business is going to be so much higher than ours was in the first 5 years.
I dig it. I mean, it's
a 17-year-old doing 6 figures.
Yeah,
like what?
Yeah, I know. And he's his question was, I'm trying to hire somebody and pluck him out of Home Depot, and he's making some decent money there. So how do I take this guy on? I'm like,
the fact that he's thinking that.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, how are you? Like, it's just awesome. It's just freaking awesome. And I always say to people, like, don't ever compare yourself to other people. Like, what if you want to be 17 to do a couple $100,000 and start plucking people out and paying them 40, 50 grand a year? That's wild. Like, that's totally available. Yeah. Like take the rev limiter off is what we've been saying this whole weekend. Let's go kind of I guess single file. So let's go through the whole day because Jeremiah, you were in the room a lot more than Paul, but we can we can kick it all the way back and forth. So who was up first? It was Nick Carlson.
Nick Carlson was first. I mean, how can you start any better? Like,
that's why I put it first.
He could be a keynote.
That I agree. That's why I put it first.
Crazy. He was first. Like,
pump up the crowd.
Yeah.
He was the thing I like about Nick, specifically for me personally, is that he likes breaking things down. He's very systematized, very mechanical, very not mechanical in terms of like X's and O's, although he is like that, he's a very like, let's get to the root of the issue, right? He's like a scientist. Yeah. Is probably the better way I'd say it. Like he's like, I want to know why it's doing what it's doing, or why we're doing what we're doing, or thinking the way we're thinking. Yeah. And he's really, really good at breaking things down and breaking paradigms, because he comes from the racing background. And so to him, every millionth of a second counts, every thousandth of a second counts, every thousandth of a gram, on weight counts. So he's so great at just removing layers of bull crap and just getting to the skeleton of like the issue. And so that's how he opened up his presentation. Tons of great nuggets. And dude, he's fire, bro.
Yeah, I mean, his mental mindset, the train that he goes down when you get him started on that.
Yeah,
like it's just you could get in that for hours and hours and hours.
Did you get him on the podcast, Paul?
Yep, twice. At the racetrack, I got him on. That's where he was talking about serving your customers and not drifting.
Okay.
And then I got him when he got off the stage. So
how was he after the stage?
Both. He was relieved, that he was off. I think all of them, when they get off, I get even a better than the stage, because they're a little nervous up there.
Yeah.
And afterwards,
the adrenaline dump.
Afterwards they're just themselves again.
Yeah.
So it was cool to get him afterwards.
One of my funny little takeaways wasn't like a public moment. It was in the master class, because and if the kid knows he's listening, I think his name was Josh. He was a great sport. He had asked a question like, dude, this was just funny, bro. Like, master class room. So we had the LAL ticket for $250. There was a pre-sale for $197. The master class was an extra $249. I've got a ton of great feedback, tons of opportunity for that to grow next year, if you guys want to reciprocate, because it was rare air. It was a very intimate environment, and everybody there they're like, hey, can you do this again and give us dibs? I'm like, well, I want to grow and get more people involved, so let me work on some things. Anyway, you guys can imagine this setup really quick. This kid, we were just into the thick of it. We're an hour and a half into this. We're just rolling, dude. It's just meat. It's just literally iron sharpeneth iron. It's high level stuff, right? And this kid, God bless his soul, he said to Nick Carlson, he goes, hey man, and he had this like whole question, but he said basically was, hey man, how do you stay motivated? And Corey Battle leaned back and goes, oh shit. And to Nick Carlson goes, I'm about to rip your head off. And dude, he just fire breathed at this dude for 6-7 minutes straight, and the kid's just like sitting back going, oh my god. I was, like at the whole water like physically we're all like leaning in. Physically every single person in the room leaned back and went, well, that's one way to go.
Put your seatbelt on, I hope you survive.
It was rare air. I look at Bedell was next to me on my right, and Bedell goes, that was awesome. Nick, dude, if you want to ask those kind of questions, that's fine, but just be ready for the answer, right? Because Nick Carlson was like, how could you not be motivated? You can build your own dream. And dude, it was wild. It was like,
somebody should have a video camera in there. The clips you would have gotten from that.
Well, Kaz from Ballard Products was in there, with Corey. Yeah. And I'm hoping Kaz caught a couple of those, because if so, Kaz, Corey, you guys can release those. But it was... Bro, it was like the right question to ask, like, quote unquote, the right or the wrong person, right? Like, and, dude, and and the guy was cool. Like, I think the kid's name was Josh or whatever, but he was cool and he was like, great answer. But it was just fire breathing. But I was like, what? That is the hot button question to ask a Nick Carlson. Yeah, it was awesome. So anyway, Nick, we love you. Great job. If he's listening to the debrief. Let's keep it moving. Who do we have after that? We had Greg Westek, the pond guy.
James Mansky, too.
Yeah, James Mansky was that morning.
Yep, I talked about Greg. Just real quick rehash on that. I asked Greg to come in and talk about how he runs his calendar, right? Versus working on the business versus in the business, that whole stuff. And Greg's the highest revenue. What's the best way to say this? Like the biggest business owner, revenue person wise, I know that I get access to, right? So he's got a $60+ million company, and it's not necessarily about revenue, you know what I mean? But he's got full autonomy and freedom with his company. He's got 130, 150 people working there. He can be anywhere, go anywhere, do anything, buy anything, spend anything. I mean, literally, like, he's a pretty wealthy dude. And it was just really interesting because when the first time I got to meet him 3-4 years ago, I got to go to his HQ at Aquascape or whatever. And on his desk was this, I don't know, 2 foot by 3 foot or 3 foot by 4 foot huge calendar laid out on his desk. And it looked like this pink, blue, greens, reds, yellows, orange. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And so I asked him, I pull him over. I go, what is this? He goes, well, that's my calendar for the year. And I said, your calendar for the year? He goes, yeah. He goes, I got 55 work days, 38 vacation days, 22 I'm in the shop days, 16, days I'm doing on tour and social media. The ones in the pink I'm in, France. The ones in the red I'm in Japan. The ones in the gray I'm in, Texas. The blues I'm in my home back in Colorado or Utah.
He moved to Utah.
And I'm just like, are you for real? Like, and it was I had never seen anything like it. I had never so I got him on stage and just said like, How can these guys that have smaller businesses, 0 to $500,000, 0 to $1 million, start getting their time back? So, like, how should they be working on their business? How can they work on the business and not in the business when they're stuck in the business? Right. And he gave some really, really good answers and some really, really good nuggets.
And on my podcast, he shared the story of how he connected with Logan Paul and Shaq and just talked about how important delegating is. I asked him, he basically told me his YouTube story of how he started at Logan Paul's house. That was his first week on YouTube or so.
Yeah.
And then how he's grown it to today. He has multiple channels.
5 channels, all with 100,000 subs or more, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And so he shares that whole story. Because I just asked him, and he just went crazy on me of how he built that whole thing and how he delegates out all the editing and everything. It was really, really interesting. I was really blessed by that story.
Yeah, quick fun story. I don't know if I can share, but who cares? Whatever it is, what it is. Greg's not gonna care. But hopefully, don't like send like a military helicopter and bomb me. But anyway, he showed me his AdSense from not the Logan, but the Shaquille O'Neal video. That video went so viral. His AdSense check on YouTube was like $38,000. Yeah, like just from that 30-day period from all the views. I was like, oh my God. I don't make that on YouTube, just so we're clear. I was like, bro. But the next month it like went back to like what it really was, which was like less than my actual AdSense check. Yeah. So I talked to the his team, the social team at Aquascape, and they go, yeah, it was a good month. Greg keeps drilling us. Like, why isn't that every month? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to know that secret too. Yeah. But it was just crazy. You make 40 grand from YouTube?
I invited him to be a part. Jason Creel and I are going to do a YouTube mastermind in 2023. Cool. So I asked him if he wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But I think the Almonds are going to join, Corey Ballard, like a few of us, if any of y'all want to join.
Cool. Yeah.
We're just going to do like 5 or 7 of us. So we're going to try to blow up on YouTube in 2023.
I'm hanging in there. YouTube is an interesting animal.
It's weird.
It's funny. All right, we got on that. So
one more thing about that. He's like, I'm coming to Atlanta in June to go to Shaq's house. He's like, you want to come? I was like, I'll be there. So
that's awesome.
I'm gonna hopefully that he remembers that he invited me,
dude.
But I got his cell phone, so I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm ready to go to Shaq's house. What's the address?
Heck yeah,
but that'd be cool. Shaq's
up on the way.
He's a billionaire from what I understand.
Shaquille O'Neal?
Yeah.
That guy's in like every commercial for like every product. I see him.
He owns like, I saw an Instagram reel. He owns like 22 companies. Like he owns like Forever 21 and like H&M and like companies you would never know, but he owns like effing Holiday Inn, bro. Like not that he does, but you're like, who would own that? It's Shaq. And like he's literally a billionaire, bro.
Kia. Those are the cars.
I just saw him go to that picture of him going in the Gravely dealer and buying a Gravely lawnmower.
Gravely got it.
Really?
Yeah. He lives in Atlanta.
What?
Yeah.
He lives in Atlanta because he works for the basketball network TNT, which is located in downtown Atlanta. So anyway, Greg,
we love you.
Give me to Shaq's house.
I'll come to Shaquille O'Neal.
I'll show up if you need somebody there. I mean, if you need a body.
I'll hold your camera.
You're afraid of snakes and frogs. What are you going to do?
Have Shaquille stomp on him? I don't know.
No, you'll be all right. I can watch you, man.
Yeah. Well, you were talking. Well, you're like giving me crap. The reason I have PTSD is you're talking about slicing a rattlesnake's head off, and the rattler's rattling.
And you could feel the vibration through the shovel, and then the head's still going because I chopped it off in half.
No.
And Paul's got a black widow sitting outside of his window that he hadn't gotten rid of yet.
Yeah, I said, so like Michigan, not a big fan of the politics, not a big fan of the climate. I said, I'm not like proud of being from Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never said that. I like the state, like the weather, it's okay with the different seasons. But we were joking at lunch, long story short, we were just having a casual conversation. I said, in Michigan, we don't get black widows and scorpions and hurricanes and earthquakes and tornadoes and F4s, ripping through and all this stuff. And then you're like, in Atlanta, we get rattlesnakes. And I'm like, for real? You're like, and you told this whole story of chopping its head off and like the nervous system makes the rattler spaz out. And I'm like, that's a nope. My wife and I'll call those nopes. That's a nope. And then I was like, yeah, black widows. You're like, oh, I have a black widow nest outside my window in my apartment. I'm like, burn the building down. That's ridiculous. And you're like, yeah, I guess we should probably take care of that. I'm like, what? I'm like, Michigan's not that bad.
Yeah. And then I had a snake in my garage.
Yeah.
Shed its skin in my garage.
Oh my God.
That did spook me out there. When I went to spend the night, he's like, oh yeah, the snake's over there. And I was
my God.
watching my stairs. Because if I see the snake off, like when I'm out working, then I'm like, okay, I'm cool. But if I'm like tiptoeing around your garage and I know there's a snake in there, I don't like that.
No, by the way, quick nugget on this one. If I talk about snakes and spiders, don't send me some stupid video about snakes and spiders, because I talked about this once on a podcast episode, and I got a guy that DM'd me. It was a brown or black or whatever recluse in his garage in the corner. He goes, that's a recluse. That'll mess you up. I go, why is it alive? Why would you send me that? Why is it like, so don't send me that stuff. I don't want to see that stuff. I don't need to do bugs, insects, spiders, snakes, scorpions. Like, opt out. That's a nope. All right.
Moving along.
Shifting gears. So that was
hard shift, Fullerton.
Yeah. So that was Greg Woodstock. Who's after that? Mansky?
Mark Bradley was in the morning, wasn't he?
No, he was
afternoon.
Was afternoon? Okay.
Yeah.
My timeline's messed up.
James Mansky was up on deck next, and he is a very, very I don't say polished like in a too good of a way, but very polished, very professional at what he did.
He's like a CEO level business owner.
Yeah,
that's what he comes across as.
We go out to dinner wearing hoodies. He's got like a sports coat on
all the time.
Yep.
Sport coat, slacks, like $200 designer dress shoes. I mean, great guy. I mean, he's in the field. He's digging ditches and mowing lawns. He's done it all, but. The way he approached his business was very strategic, very thoughtful. What is it for? You've had him on the show a couple times.
Yeah, Elkhorn Lawn Care. He's out there in Nebraska.
What was it, like 5-6 million or something? 50 employees, 80 employees?
Yeah, I think he's around 60 employees and definitely multiple millions.
Yeah,
He told me it was like 4.5, close to 5, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
but he's acquiring now, so he hopes to double by next year.
Yeah. That's legit.
Crazy.
He was great. He talked about strategic growth, putting systems in place. It was really good. You know, they'll go through a whole debrief, obviously, but it was really insightful because these guys are growing. They're growing multiples of millions, and you're able to see the similar blueprint that they're using to grow. And in fact, I got to catch up with Corey at a break, Corey Ballard, and he goes, which they're in the same market. And Corey Ballard goes, with one of their branches, he goes, I swear to God, that guy's in the Perfect Cut strategic meetings, the strategy meetings. I go, what do you mean? He goes, that is literally slide by slide almost what we do. He goes, so either two things. One, success leaves clues, or two, he's in my meetings and somebody's slipping in my slides. And I go, for real? And he goes, I'm just having fun. But he goes, the compensation system that they use, he goes, program or strategy, he goes, that's what we do. He goes, our content focus, that's what we do. Our on-ramping, that's what we do. He goes, literally, we do the exact same stuff. And I went, dude, that's awesome. And so I told Corey, and I was talking to this guy, Kaz, I said, you know, at the end of the day, when you start looking at success, and this is what I've just come to learn on my journey of success, is that when you start looking at success, it really just starts distilling down to the same stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like the more, like everybody can talk all day on books and podcasts, and everybody's got their shtick or their 2 cents. But when you really start distilling it down, like it really all starts to sound the same, which I like.
Yeah.
I like. You just got to start digging and finding like those success principles.
It just has more commas and more zeros.
That's right.
That's what every successful person on that stage said this weekend. At some point in some conversation I heard was, hey, we all go through the same stuff. We just have more commas and more zeros at the end of our stuff.
That's right. Let's do this really quick. James Mansky did a great job. Loved the guy, great guy. I'm becoming buddies with him. Found some mutual interests. He's into watches and cars. So I was like, hey, finally, like another dude that's out there that loves watches and cars. Yeah. He was texting me. He's like, you got this watch? I'm like, no. He's like, I got this one. This is a nice one. I'm like, I'm not trying to spend any money right now, bro. I'm about to build a house. But he's like, if you need anything, I'll hook you up. I'm like, all right. So it's always good to know people.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's a wealthy dude, so I like knowing wealthy people. But that being said, that was the first couple speakers. We had Nick Carlson, we had Greg Woodstock, we had James Mansky. Let's do this really quick. Let's shift gears because after that, if I'm not mistaken, was Mike Andes. Right? Because it went Mike Andes and then Cycle CPA. So let's do this real quick. We're going to button up on this show. We're going to change gears. We're going to get to part 2 on the Growing Green podcast. So if you guys want to hang for just a quick second, let's hear a little bit more from today's show sponsored announcements. We super appreciate them sponsoring the show. We'll button it up right here. And then, guys, check out the Growing Green podcast today. Same time that this episode's dropping, so is Jeremiah's for part 2. And we're going to come right on back with the second half of the day from Entrepreneur Academy Live 2022.
Lawns, landscaping, and outdoor awesomeness, that's what your business does best. Managing your vehicles and optimizing efficiency with the latest technology is what we do best. GPS Track It provides a 24/7 view of where your company vehicles are and how efficiently they're operating, saving you time and money. With more than 12,000 customers, GPS Track It has delivered peace of mind for lawn and landscaping companies for 20 years. Ready to protect your vehicles and save money? Talk with one of our fleet advisors. There's no pressure, no hassles. Call 833-385-0252 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to learn more. Those details are in the show notes. GPS Track It. Marty here with one more reminder before we wrap everything up, and that is about the Black Friday sales that are coming to LawnEntrepreneurAcademy.com. Yes, our biggest, baddest, best sales of the year over that weekend of Black Friday through Cyber Monday. Make a little note on your phone, set a reminder to check out LawnEntrepreneurAcademy.com for big savings.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.